European Union leaders are hailing an agreement on migration as a sign of unity across the bloc.
Well, this new deal includes the possibility of setting up asylum processing centres in North African countries. The SABC's Europe correspondent, that's Jack Parrock, reports.
For the new anti-immigration Italian government, the migration deal at the EU Leaders Summit is being heralded as a success. Italy is no longer alone, he says, after EU leaders put into writing there should be a shared responsibility to take in asylum seekers. Tens of thousands have arrived on Italian shores. But the deal is voluntary. And having seen 2 rescue vessels carrying hundreds of Africans stranded in the Mediterranean after Italy shut its ports until it got help, human rights groups worry it could only be words and not actions. As a way of preventing people in sub-Saharan Africa from leaving their homes in search of a new life in Europe, the European Union leaders are stumping up 6.8 billion rand for what's known as the EU Trust Fund for Africa, which focuses on security and development. The statement also says that the European Union must intensify its cooperation with the African Union on migration issues. German Chancellor Angela Merkel returns to Berlin with assurances in the agreement surrounding the movement of asylum seekers within the EU's border-free Schengen zone, which she hopes will quell a potential rebellion by her Bavarian sister party and coalition partner.
We discussed secondary migration and determined that we must focus on order and control, because we need to uphold the rules. No asylum seeker has the right to seek out which country within the European Union or the Schengen zone to go through the asylum procedure in.
European leaders also set into motion a controversial plan to open asylum processing centres in North African states, but Libya and Tunisia are against the idea.
For most countries, a possible incentive would be visa liberalisation, mobility, opportunities to travel, opportunities for their own citizens to work in Europe, and those incentives are just not on the table at the moment.
Despite arrivals of asylum seekers into Europe being around 95% down on the over 1 million people in 2015, EU nations have remained divided. Unity appears to have prevailed at this summit, but for how long? Jack Parrock, SABC News, Brussels.